So, hi. As you can see from the title, that when I say YouTube is the new black hole, I mean it. The reason why I am saying this is I'll explain this in this video. I guarantee you that not for maybe once, but a lot of time it might have happened with you also, that you open YouTube for a while or maybe plan for playing a single song or something like that. And your plan was to just open and go for 5 minutes, and your 2 hours or 3 hours you directly are sitting idly and consuming YouTube, pointlessly watching videos, getting dopamine hit. And the point, you might be thinking like I am making some kind of motivational video, but my point is not here to make a motivational video. This is something much deeper than that. And the reason I'm making this video is because these kind of black holes are invented by human itself, and not maybe I would say human, but the top elite 1% of the population, or you can say through capitalism. Like, people are trying, minority of the people who are the top elite, those people are trying to capture the masses and keep them engaged in themselves and distracted, so that they could use them, the masses, for their own benefit. And let me explain why I'm saying like this. These elites are building these kind of spaces which I consider as black hole. These platforms like YouTube, Instagram, maybe Snapchat, or these streaming platforms like Twitch and Kick and other stuff. These are kind of those, these are more dangerous than even black hole, I would say. Like, these are the platforms where the masses go and they like destroy themselves among them. Like, minority of the masses among the masses is producing on those platforms, even I am included, and then the majority is consuming that, and the whole profit is just directly goes to the elite, and maybe 5 to 10% is to the creators who create content on these platforms. And if we talk about particularly for YouTube, I also have a saying regarding this. Like, if you genuinely just consume content on just YouTube for 20 hours straight every day, you would still not consume even 50% of what already being posted until now. And this black hole kind of thing is growing, and this would never stop. Like, people who were in a century ago, the people who have now, just most of them have died, they created on this platform. Now we are creating, and in future the next and next generation would keep creating. So this loophole would go by, and the content would be increasing. Like, there would be 100x more content in next maybe 2 to 3 decades, and people consume so much meaningless content. Like, the one of the main biggest illusion which these platforms create is, like, they make you feel that you are living your life when you go on these apps. Like, if you open YouTube and you start watching a video, anything, lifestyle or vlog, anything, you usually open those videos which you aspire to be. And when you open those videos, after you consume those videos, that gives you dopamine hit, and which makes you feel that you yourself have achieved those things, which in reality is not true. But the more you consume those content, the more dopamine hit you get, and in reality you are still at the stagnant position, or to be more precise, you are getting negative. Like, you are losing your time, so you are going in negative day by day. The more you consume, the more your internet is used, the more your energy is used, the more your mind is full of these kind of shit which you don't need in real life, but you consume but just because it makes you feel good, because these are the things which you want to do in your life or you want to achieve, and you see someone else achieving, so you try to live your dream through their lens on these platforms. Like, in reality, a century or maybe 2 century ago, when technology was not to this level, people used to live their life and they were not this level of engaged in other people's life. For example, even right now, on an average, a teenager would be invested in 100 people, at least 100 people's life, just via their phone on different platforms. Like, he might be following few singers, he might be following few sports people like footballer or someone, or he might be also watching movies or some politician or something like that. Like, he might be on an average teenager might be invested in at least 100 people's life, and would have spent at least, maybe if not maybe 2 to 3 years, just by consuming and investing in those people's life, and which was not case earlier on. Like, Earlier on, people usually, when they did not have technology, they were invested more in their own life, and they hardly have time to see what's going on in someone else's life. But now people literally spend more than half of their life just by consuming and being investing their time in someone else's life. And the fact is that nobody cares. Like, you consume that and you just, life goes by and nobody cares. The reason why I'm making this video particularly for YouTube is because YouTube is one of the greatest platform among all these platforms. Like, if you compare any platform, whether it's music or it's a streaming platform or it's a social media like Instagram, YouTube is the greatest platform where this happens a lot. Like, people continuously for 5 to 7 hours just sitting in front of their screen watching YouTube, mindlessly scrolling through channels. And the one of the main astonishing thing is, like, there's a lot to consume. Like, you might have few things which you might be interested in. Like, there are channels, like, I was recently looking into this, like, why people are interested in consuming body cam footage. And the reason behind that, I lately realized, is because people like adventure, action, that gives the dopamine hit and a rush in their body, and they most of the time try to consume these kind of thing via Netflix or consuming fictional stories or something like that. But when they see these body cam footage or something like that happening in real life, that make look 10x more realistic and gives more dopamine hit. And I was once also in that loophole of, like, I started consuming these body cam footages, and there are a lot of, like, millions of incidents happening right now, and lot of stories when you start consuming and you found these random channel on this platform YouTube, you start consuming that content on this channel, and then you keep consuming, and you waste almost a week, 2 weeks, or maybe a month just literally consuming that content, and the result of all that is zero. Not only zero, the result is negative. Like, you lost your time, you lost your internet, you lost your energy, and your now brain is full of hundreds of videos of shit doesn't even matter in your own personal life. If you haven't watched that single video of those body cam, your brain might be much more cleaner and much more working on yourself, like what's happening in your life, if you indulge in your life during that 1 month. But now you have hundreds of videos which doesn't make any sense, doesn't help you in your own life in any way. Just because you get some dopamine, you consume those, and now these are just in your heads roaming around somewhere. There are also, like, different niche which I usually consume, like trekking, and it's kind of like this. You were a god, assume like this, and you could see from above what's happening in everyone's life. But the thing which keeps you at negative side in this is that, like, when you get involved in everyone else's life, you lost a touch from your own life. Like, you get so invested in others' life because some crazy shit is happening in their life, you lost touch from your own life, and you just don't live your life. And that's the most important thing in life, like, to live your life and make it much better and achieve anything you want to do. And you lost the plot, I would say. At this time, like, there is no niche. There's every day new niche coming up. Every kind of content is there. Any type of content you want to consume. Each content which is until now had been posted on this platform comes under two categories. One, where people are creating and recording those videos. Second, people who are consuming those videos. And these both people fall of these category, which is even the producer, the people who are creating the content, and the consumer who are consuming the content. These both are consuming the content. Like, all are consuming. But only difference is that these people are consuming as well as creating. But these people are only consuming. And there are a lot of, like, interesting stuff too on this platform, like related to history, World War, Hitler, and other so much crazy stuff that it keeps you attached on this platform forever, like until your brain hurts or until you, like, physically get exhausted. It would drain all your energy, your time. It's kind of a drug. You consume, you get high, and then you again consume, you again get high, and then again consume, and then again high. And the problem with this is that people are not realizing right now, but social media and internet is one of the biggest drugs in current time, which has not any age. Like, there is no age specification, like age restrictions on people, like only 18 plus can consume, and there is no proper guidance given in school or any proper education given that you should consume only 2 hours. After that there would be fine or something like. So even children, teenagers, young adults, everyone is addicted to this kind of stuff. And why I am against, mainly because of all this stuff, is because it snatches one of the biggest thing from your life, which is the time. And you stop living your own life when you start consuming on any platform, either Instagram or YouTube or any platform. You start consuming these content. And one thing which I have noticed among this is that people usually from the third world country consume a lot of these stuff, and the people from the first world countries, a lot of them produce these kind of stuff. The reason behind that is that the majority of the people from the third world country knows deep down that 90% of them would never be able to live the life which they are watching right now on these platforms. So what they try to get is get a dopamine just by watching these content and living their own dreams from someone else's life, like a billionaire living his life and he's shooting and showing his life. And then the people from third world countries who might never reach, majority of them is a fact that they would never reach to his level. And the negative side of that is they are not now, they have now also have stopped living their own life. Maybe they could have done something meaningful in their own life. Easiest part is that they have to just shut the technology off, move away from the internet and get engaged in their own life. And once they do that, they become more satisfied with what they are doing in their life and more happy, because once you start consuming this content, your expectations start increasing and you have higher expectation. And once they don't come into reality, that becomes a problem for you yourself. At the end, I would say these black holes would get more deeper in upcoming time. More and more people would be attracted and their time would be and energy would be sucked by these black holes. Billions of dollars are being spent on creating these black holes so that more and more people could be engaged in these kind of platforms, so that billions of dollars could be made and go to the elite and they can live their own life. And the one of the biggest example of this real life, if you think this is just a fiction or something like that, the biggest example of this is, you might have seen a recent video of Elon Musk where he shares how much screen time he devotes in a day on an average, and where he had 3 to 4 minutes of screen time in a day, not of a particular app like Instagram or YouTube. 3 to 4 minutes of screen time in whole day. Overall, he used his phone. These guys who are creating these, they themselves are not consuming, and people are actually mindlessly consuming them. How much harmful effect these are doing on their mind. So if you are, at the end, I would just say that you are someone who have been or are in right now stuck or sucked by any of these black holes, and the chances are very high that you might be maybe for towards Instagram or YouTube or any streaming platform. Then, and one thing I would, at the end, I would just suggest you to is just shut down the internet. I know it would be really hard for you because you get a lot of dopamine and you are addicted to it, and it would be really hard to break that pattern. But just shut the internet down and pick up a pen and paper and write down whatever you want to do in your life. If it's related to these platform like creating content or anything like that, write it down. If not, then also write it down and then take action according to that. Like if you want to create content, trust me, the best advice I can give you right now is stop consuming anything like how to create content or anything. Just shut it all down. Take a pen and paper, write down whatever you want to do, take action and start doing. In that journey, you will automatically grow and find out your way, your niche, and everything will just find out. You don't need any guidance, any advice. Like I would give an example for this. Like before we had Google Maps or maps on your phone, when we used to go any new place, what we used to do, we used to ask strangers, random people while visiting where would be that place. And during while visiting that new place, we used to learn a lot of different things. Like you might have not noticed, for example, like if you are visiting something to a different country and you don't have maps and you are asking your way through whole journey, then first thing you would learn is how to communicate with strangers. Second thing, you might go on a wrong place, but because of that wrong place, you would find out a new place which you never knew earlier existed. And if you have used map, you would never knew that that place existed. Plus, you would enjoy your life more. Like you would be involved in more of those reality. Like exactly that goes to the content. Like you will figure out on your own, try different things, try different niches, sit more with your brain. You would get a lot of ideas, try those, and you will figure out what you want to do. But the biggest thing mistake, if you would, I would personally tell you is that the biggest thing mistake you would make is going on this platform and start consuming any kind of video, even if it's of self-help. That would destroy you. Like that would consume lot of time, and at the end you would still have to start with yourself only. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So thank you.